The PGA Tour recently concluded one of its major events, the Wyndham Championship. One player, Joohyung Kim, made history when he came out on top in the event and in the process secured himself a spot in the upcoming FedEx Cup Playoffs. It was an exciting few days for Kim and fans of the sport, and we'll be covering the event and much more in today's video. First up, Joohyung Kim makes history. Joohyung Kim is a South Korean golf player, though his self-styled English name is Tom, after his love for the old cartoon series, Thomas the Tank Engine. He recently made headlines because of his presence at the Wyndham Championships event in the PGA Tour. Not only for his presence, in fact, but because he managed to end the event at the top of the leaderboard, taking home the title. This was Kim's first PGA Tour title after only gaining temporary membership after a T47 finish at the 2022 Open Championship. Prior to this, Kim had primarily been playing in Asian tours, but it's clear that he has nerves of steel considering his quick progression through the PGA. Not only is this Kim's first PGA Tour title, he's achieved it at a very young age. He's only 20 years old at the time of this video, making him the second youngest winner in the PGA Tour since 1932. That's saying quite a bit when you consider he had to go against experienced PGA golfers like American John Huh. His win isn't just a huge milestone in itself. It also ensured that he would have a slot in the upcoming FedEx Cup Playoffs. The FedEx Cup marked the first playoffs in PGA history, so its trophy means quite a bit in the tour. It's a trophy that Kim will now have the honor of vying for, along with 124 other amazing players. Next, how he secured victory. The Wyndham Championship tournament takes place in Greensboro, North Carolina, so Kim was a long way from home when he took on the challenge of playing a major tournament like this one, but that didn't seem to make too much of a difference to him. Granted, he did have a rough start in the week when he stood ahead of the opening hole. He potted a quadruple bogey 8, which would tilt anyone, even the most hardened players, but Kim kept his cool and he rebounded. He managed to recover from that heinous quadruple bogey and ended with a 67 that day. The following rounds were just as great, with scores of 64, 68, and 61 being added to the scoreboard. Altogether, Kim managed to end with a score of 20 under par at Sedgefield Country Club. That was 5 shots ahead of the second placers, John Huh and fellow South Korean Sungjae. Just so you get an idea of the caliber at which he was playing, you should know that Kim scored a front 9 of 27 at one point. That 27 was made thanks to 6 birdies and an eagle, which is utterly ridiculous. He could have had one of the most successful runs at the club if it wasn't for a grim 10th hole that slowed his momentum down. Regardless, his shots at the 15th and 16th hole let him recover and keep his head. Finally, Kim's reactions. Like we said, it might not be easy starting off the field with a quadruple bogey. Only 4 players over the last 40 seasons have managed to pull off a title win after dropping a quad, and none of those ever started off a tournament with one. So Kim was in a quite peculiar and difficult situation, but as we know, he didn't let that stop him. After all was said and done, and he'd picked up his title, Kim told CBS interviewers that he had to stay really patient during the week. He continued on, detailing how he dealt with the quad. His initial reaction was likely disappointment, but he didn't let that bog him down, saying that once he started to laugh it off, he was in a much better mental state to continue on through the next holes. He decided that he had to stay in the moment instead of getting angry at what had happened, and that clearly worked out for him. He was, however, just as surprised as the rest of us at the fact that he still managed to win, but though he may remember it for the rest of his life, he hopes this isn't something that happens again. Compatriot Sungjae said that he was proud of Kim, calling him a great kid who managed to pull off a fairly difficult task in winning a tour as a non-member and securing a card. M didn't have too bad of a time on the field himself initially, completing the 3rd round with a 1-shot lead. However, as the day progressed, he just couldn't keep up with Kim, who built up momentum that couldn't be matched. Having secured 34th place in the FedEx Cup standings as a result of his Wyndham win, we're sure that Kim is going to keep delivering some outstanding plays in the months to come. We can't wait to see him on the field again. Now it's time for some other news. First up, LIV golfers get PGA hearing. A trio of LIV Golf Series players who have been trying to get spots in the upcoming PGA Tour event have finally received a date for a court hearing. The hearing, which will take place in a court in California, will consider their challenge. The trio consists of Americans Taylor Gooch and Hudson Swafford and Australian Matt Jones, who are looking to attain a temporary restraining order to prevent the playoffs from beginning without them. This is part of a much bigger mess involving 11 players from the PGA Tour that joined LIV. These players, who accepted an offer from the Saudi Arabia-backed LIV Golf Series, filed an antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour. The lawsuit alleges that the PGA acted as a monopoly that attempted to stifle the LIV upstart group. This is was only given more credence by the fact that the PGA has issued indefinite suspensions to all members and former members who have participated in LIV Golf so far. Among these suing players are Hooch, Jones, and Swafford. The trio had already secured their positions in the FedEx Cup Playoffs prior to leaving for LIV, which is why they're pushing for the restraining order, which could serve as a temporary means of playing in the PGA. On the other hand, the antitrust lawsuit could take years to be settled, which is time that the trio don't really have. Next up, PGA's response to lawsuit trio. The PGA Tour has responded to the situation regarding the trio, looking to attain a temporary restraining order against them. The tour has cited Jones as one of three seeking the restraining order. As a part of its own defense, Jones had responded to a question about whether he knew he was going to be banned as a result of his LIV interactions, saying he had to expect it. The PGA has also said that the trio are fabricating an emergency to get what they want. Finally, Han and others upset over PGA's schedule. There are set to be 5 PGA Tour events taking place between the second week of October and the first week of November. If a professional PGA player wanted to take part in all of them, that would require a little more than 15,000 miles of travel. That's a pretty taxing schedule, and though players aren't required to participate in all of them, those that want to, for the potential of moving up in the ranks, aren't going to have the best of times. James Hahn, a former PGA Tour winner and policy board player director, is concerned over the itinerary as well. He took to Twitter to express his feelings on it, saying that for a viewer, it's just a flick of the remote, but for players, it's around 20 hours of travel in a single day and thousands of dollars in expenses. The upcoming FedEx Cup will be Hahn's 8th tournament in a row, which is clearly taking a toll on him. In a reply to a Twitter comment, he said that he won't be seeing his family for a month and that he'd be missing his daughter's first day of school, adding sardonically that he's doing this just to be the 236th best player in the world. He also addressed the recent exodus of players from the PGA to LIV. Many have cited the scheduling issues as a primary reason for leaving, and Hahn said that it was hypocritical that these players were criticized for leaving to spend time with their families. But when he attempts to start a conversation on the scheduling issues, it's considered whining. This lack of consideration of players is why so many are disillusioned with the PGA. Take Pat Perez as an example, who said that he's been on the road since 1998. The chance to play in the LIV Golf Series for a huge salary, he says, is like winning the lottery. He added that playing in the PGA took a lot away from him, having missed the birth of his son because of the terrible scheduling. And that's a wrap for this video. Were you in awe of Kim's performance at Wyndham? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.